downfall. Hey, what? These niggas prayed on my downfall. On R10, bitch, I stood tall.
Welcome everyone to Podcast 69 South, where we cuss and discuss true crime, cold cases, current events, and hot topics, along with our state of society today. This is your trigger warning. Our podcast content is produced for adult listeners 18 years of age and older. We discuss situations that may be offensive and triggering to some listeners. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Welcome to 69 South, everybody. I'm Chop and your host today, and also with me is my beautiful co-host, Julie. What's up, babe?
You make me blush every time you say that, and I don't know why.
Man, I gotta say,
every time
we're both kind of giddy today because yesterday Karen Rd was found not guilty.
Not guilty, not guilty, not guilty.
And it's a blessing. I can't tell you how much Julie prayed for this. You know what? Nobody wants justice for John O'Keefe more than 69 South. But if it doesn't matter if Karen Rd was convicted or acquitted
I would have
yesterday.
still believed she was innocent.
Yeah, but justice would not have been served for John O'Keefe because she did not fucking do that shit.
No, and it's so obvious. It's so obvious. And then what kills me is that these people, and you know, Twitter's real bad with everybody hating Karen Rd and the trolls. And just the shit they say is so disgusting.
You know, I'm not one to really talk about politics and shit, but it's almost like the difference in Democrats and Republicans. Like sometimes I sit and wonder, what the fuck are they thinking? And I look at the shit they're saying about Karen Rd. Oh, she did it. She did it. But if you look at every fucking thing, there's no fucking way she did it.
No.
I've seen dudes get their ass whooped, and I've seen people being hit by cars. And there's no way that Karen Rd backed up into him with a fucking cracked tail light and destroyed his fucking face, split the back of his head open, and caused all that shit. There's no fucking way. It just didn't happen like that.
You ever been bit by a dog?
I've been bit by several dogs.
What it look like?
I ain't never been bit by a police dog, but I've had a lot of buddies been bit by canine police dogs, and it looked just fucking like that.
You can't tell me that on those injuries on his arm, that middle injury was like a bite, and then the few on the side were scratches.
Yeah, absolutely. It looked like Chloe may have had a little bit of a crooked overbite. You know what I'm saying? Or canines. I swear, that's what they fucking look like.
Wow.
And that Michael Proctor, man, I don't know if you guys watched the 2020 shit where he was like, oh, I was just like
Not
over.
2020, it was 2020. It was 2024.
But the fucking show was called
the
2020
show.
Yeah,
oh, you're talking about the show.
Talk shit. It was 2020, right?
The TV show, not the year.
Yeah. Well, fuck, it didn't even happen until 3 years ago.
I know.
So any fucking way.
I was just trying to help you out.
Thank you, baby. You're so sweet. Anyway, Michael Proctor was like, oh, well, it was just emotions because this was another police officer and...
That was my colleague and my friend.
Yeah.
You didn't work with him.
He didn't even fucking know him, for one. But for two, he was like, in my emotions, this was so far into the case. It was 16 fucking hours into the case. When that ain't so far into a case. That's like, you don't know shit what the fuck's going on.
And if you're a professional police officer and your emotions are getting to you like that, apparently you don't need to be a professional
You need to go see
officer.
a fucking psychiatrist or a psychologist, whichever the best is for a dipshit.
Uh-huh.
I mean, come on, man. You called her a whack job cunt.
C word.
And dogged her fucking medical condition like your leaky balloon. Not for you guys that don't know, she had something wrong where maybe she might have... And shit,
She has multiple... Karen has MS.
Right. I'm 52 years old. I lift something heavy up. I may leak a little poop out. You know what I'm saying? Shit.
Shut up.
but he said leaky balloon knot, man. That's just fucking rude. That's so unprofessional. And how fucking embarrassing was it for him knowing that the whole I mean, how many people you think was watching that first trial when Alan Jackson made him read them texts calling her a whack job cunt?
Tens of thousands.
I think it was way more than that.
Oh, yeah, probably. But I'm just taking a mediocre guess.
And what do you think, honestly, about...
Well, we know on Melanie Little, she's got 30,000, in her live stream at one time just watching. And that's on one channel.
Trial, right?
Yeah, and that was on the second trial.
There's no way that jury had not heard about the Karen Reed case. I mean, we're hillbillies from Indiana, and we was deep into that shit on the first trial. So there's no way that
everybody in Canada,
everybody knew.
It was in the newspapers. I mean, and Karen had
the courthouse
billboards
surrounded.
everywhere.
The courthouse was surrounded every day. How could you fucking not know? I'm surprised. It was probably a pretty good move for the defense not to move it, honestly.
Well, it was in Dedham, not Canton. I wonder if Dedham's the county seat. Maybe. You know how counties have different towns in them, and one's bigger than the other,
absolutely.
and then one's a county seat.
That must be exactly what it is, really.
Well, Canton was a pretty big town. It had like 24,000 people. So it's like twice the size of the area we come from.
So, folks, if you haven't heard of Karen Reed, if you've been living under a rock and not heard of the John O'Keefe story, go back and listen to our 4-part series, Secrets in the Snow. It'll basically catch you up on the first trial with Brian Higgins and Brian Albert and all the villains that was in the first trial that was not in the second trial.
Oh, and there's a bunch of villains. I think we should talk about what we think really happened.
Well, I'll tell you what I think happened. And I've always, as Karen Reed as a person, I don't fucking know her. I don't know how she is, how cool she is. But I saw the text messages between her and Brian Higgins when she was supposedly with John O'Keefe. Mm-hmm. And she was definitely doing some flirting that shouldn't have been being done. I don't know their
situation. If you're in a committed relationship,
Absolutely.
It should not have been being done.
And he said that she put a smooch on him outside and that type shit.
Mm-hmm.
But I think some more shit happened between them that was ever let out in court or, ever came to really.
You think they did the dirty, don't you?
I think they did. I really do think they did. And the reason I think that, because, I mean, as a person, I thought Brian Higgins was kind of cool, other than the bullshit that he's in here. Not Brian Albert, but Brian Higgins. I mean, when I watched his testimony, I thought, man, I could probably hang out with that fucking dude. You know what I mean? He was pretty cool. But the way he acted in the bar when Karen Reed kind of snuffed him when he texted her.
Well.
Yeah, exactly. Well. And what'd she do? She smooched John O'Keefe right in front of his fucking ass. And then he got all shitty.
His feelings got hurt.
Yep. His little pee-pee got smashed or something. But if you watch the video at the Waterfall Bar, he's all like motioning at John O'Keefe. Hey, motherfucker, let's take it outside, bitch. Come on outside. That's what I got out of it. I'm a big Irish dude.
Yeah, because why did Chris grab his arm like, calm down, not in here?
Chill the fuck out, bro. This is our spot.
That's exactly what it was.
Fuck yeah, that's what happened. But before that, him and Brian Albert was all like fucking, I'm a big Irish dude. I used to like to drink and fucking fight. That's what we do. You know what I mean? That's exactly what they was doing. They was hype. They was drinking. Brian Higgins was pissed off. And Brian Higgins and Brian Albert had spent all day riding back from where was it?
New York.
New York.
An officer's funeral that they didn't even know.
Yes. So Brian Higgins was telling Brian Albert about,
hey,
man,
Karen's been texting me.
Yeah, man, I fucking hit that shit, or I'm trying to hit that shit or whatever. And then, I don't know, man. I know him. I feel it in my heart. That's what happened. And when you see him fucking shitty and squaring up with Brian Albert, play fighting though, because they're just all fucking hype.
And they're trying to garner the attention of the ladies. Why else would you do that?
You wouldn't do that. They're in their fucking 40s, late 40s.
Yeah, late 40s.
At the time.
50s.
That's what the fuck happened. He was pissed off. His manhood was hurt. He was squaring up, trying to be tough.
I'm the FBI agent, and she's going to fall for just the Boston cop.
Yep, that's exactly what it was, I promise you. When he waved for him to motion for him to go the fuck outside to fight, that's what sold it for me. Plus, there's no fucking way that she backed into him with that Lexus and did that much damage to his face. They keep talking about his arm. What about his fucking eyes? They look like they were about to pop out of his head.
And the skull fractures he had in the back of his head.
It was split. The back of his head was split. What pisses me off, babe, is that they didn't investigate the house. If that was a citizen's house, they would have fucking scoured that piece of shit.
Anybody who is found dead on somebody's lawn, I can guarantee you 99.9% of the time, they're getting a search warrant to go in that house. To look.
You let Morgan County find a dead fucking Morgan County sheriff cop in my yard? I promise you, I'm probably going to jail the minute they find him, and then they're going to search every blade of grass in my shit.
Absolutely, they would.
That was the fucked up part about it. And they also proved that Michael Proctor, even though they didn't prove it like Michael Proctor was the best friends with the Alberts or Higgins, they proved that they knew each other. They knew who the fuck each other was.
Yeah, and they had met a few times. See, what I think is muddy in it, I think the waters were muddied a little bit when it comes to how well some of these people really knew each other.
Canton wasn't that big, and police officers know who the other police officers are. And plus, Brian Higgins was an FBI agent. He had a fucking office in the Canton Police Department.
Yes, but John was a Boston police officer, and also Brian Albert was a police officer in Boston, but I guess they were on different. I think Brian Albert was like the.
But weren't they both detectives? Like Brian Albert was he was a fugitive cop. Like he hunted people,
gang force, task members, drugs,
type shit.
And I think John O'Keefe was
a sex crimes detective.
Or I'm saying that loosely because I'm not 100% for sure. I did hear that, but I haven't verified it. But they did work in the same. For Boston's the same employer.
There's thousands of fucking Boston police officers. And I'll tell you what, the second trial, it was really weird how the commissioner called, what's her name, babe? The Boston girl cop.
Officer Deaver.
Is that what Alan Jackson called her, or was that her real name? Because she kept saying...
No, it's Officer, I think, Dever, but he accidentally said Deaver, and she was like, you can't remember my last name. I don't remember, just... being a bitch.
Yeah, but the commissioner called her to... there's thousands of Boston cops.
You gotta...
She was a fucking rookie Boston cop, too.
But why did he call her to the office?
Well, he said, supposedly, we support you in everything you do. Do the right thing. And for people that don't know, man, that's just a fucking thing that cops... It's a blue wall. And I get it, man.
The blue wall of silence.
The blue wall of silence. Bikers, cops... Kind of the same deal.
Criminals.
Right. But do the right thing. That's basically saying don't fucking tell on your officers. Say whatever the fuck you got to say to be on the right side of the law. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. And, Officer Deaver, I'm going to call her Officer Deaver. I don't care how you pronounce it. But anyway.
She was kind of a bitch, really.
Yeah, she was. You know why she was like that? She was instantly defensive because the bitch knew she was lying.
Yeah, she was scared to death. Oh, the funny part about it is that she said that she saw Brian Higgins and the...
chief of police, I believe it was.
Yeah, it was the chief of the Canton Police Department go into the Sally Port where Karen Reed's car was taken. And mind you, they passed two Massachusetts state police posts where it should have been taken because Canton was supposed to be recused from the whole case because Brian Albert had ties to the Canton Police Department, his family, and all that bullshit.
His brother was the detective there.
Absolutely. But then after the FBI talked to her and the commissioner talked to her,
her story changed.
Yeah, she had a false memory, people. A false memory from a police officer. Can you imagine? I'm telling you, if she had busted me, I would be right back in fucking court right now saying, that bag of weed you saw in my pocket, it must have been a false memory too. I'm just saying. That's fucked up.
Hypothetically. Not that there is anything like that in your pocket.
And she wasn't really smart enough to come up with the false memory bullshit. Somebody higher up told her to fucking say that shit. You have to say it's a false memory. Like, you imagined it in your fucking head. If you're imagining two dudes that you know walk into a fucking room that they're not supposed to be in, and her words were, they stayed in there for a wildly amount of time.
And I thought that it was odd.
If you imagine a shit like that, bitch, you don't need to be a police officer. You need to be on some psych drugs.
You're like delusional then.
Yeah, you can't imagine false memory shit like that. That don't even make fucking sense.
And, well, this officer was not in the first trial, so everybody was like, who is this? And she was brought into this trial because after Sergeant Good had to leave the Canton Police Department to go to where John O'Keefe was on that call with all the other officers, she is the officer that took over manning like the 911 dispatcher desk and all the security system cameras. You know how like in a dispatcher area you have all the cameras for the whole jail?
That's another thing I wanted to say. She said, well, I can't remember where all the security cameras were. And there were so many cops that come up on Melanie Little's stream that said, I was a dispatcher 20 years ago and I still remember every TV screen, every monitor, where it was, everything. So that was some bullshit. Lying. Absolutely, she was fucking lying.
I bet she feels like an idiot because she knows the world thinks she's an idiot. But hey, guess what? She got to keep her job.
She did.
She didn't lie about that.
And I'm telling you what, the Boston police, man, they're some fucking gangsters. So I get why she did what she did. She was probably, like, her life was literally probably in danger. I mean, they fucking killed John O'Keefe, I think.
Oh, John O'Keefe was absolutely killed at 34 Fairview. Absolutely, 100%.
We know that. But the lady that was a financial advisor type shit and she was a professor, Karen Reed wasn't she, at a college? Wasn't she a professor?
She was a professor. She was an adjunct professor at Bentley College. Plus, she was a financial person for Fidelity Investments. She had an amazing career, an amazing part-time career. She had her own house. She was a very independent woman taking care of her own business.
She was in her 40s. There's no way you go from kissing your dude, loving up on him, to fucking backing up 27 miles an hour and crashing into him with your taillight and destroying his face, looking like he went 10 rounds with Mike Tyson, which was supposedly said by John O'Keefe's brother after they seen him in the hospital too, Karen Reed. It's not confirmed.
When she got to the house.
Yeah, they're denying it now, but she said that he said that. Some he said, she said
they
shit.
know the O'Keefes, I mean, I feel bad. I feel horrible for John O'Keefe's mother.
Absolutely.
I mean,
I do too.
She's lost 2 children, and you don't wish that on your worst enemy. It's the worst thing in the whole world. But I think her hatred, she didn't like Karen before, and I just think her hatred grew after all this stuff happened with John, because she had Jen McCabe in her ear the entire time. I mean, as soon as that morning, she was in Peggy O'Keefe's ear.
Absolutely.
Telling her, I think Karen hit her with the car.
We'll be right back.
Hey everybody, it's Chop here at 69 South. We have gathered quite the following of new and faithful listeners. In fact, we're in 72 countries and 1,600 cities. It excites the shit out of us, to be honest. We have countless downloads and streams. If you're a small business starting out or an accomplished business looking for some good advertisement, shoot us an email at 69southpodcast@gmail.com. The 6 and the 9 are numbers, southpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you for listening. Have a good day. We will send you a advertisement package. And the video of her backing out of, was it One Fairview?
Meadows.
One Meadows, yeah. It's obvious that she hit John's car with her passenger side taillight. I mean, it's obvious. It drives me nuts that these people think, oh, she did it. This caused this damage. There's no fucking way.
Now, I've read this, okay, and I've always had this weird feeling because, okay, so Karen gets a hold of Carrie Roberts and Jen in the morning to go look for John, help her find him. She gets a hold of Jen because, that's the last place she was at, and Jen was there, okay?
Yeah.
Now, so she calls Jen at 5 in the morning, but I guess before that she called Carrie. I don't know what order they actually called in, but so Karen goes to pick up Jen, and then Carrie Roberts pulls up behind her and then supposedly follows her all the way over to One Meadows Avenue. Now, if you're looking for somebody, why are you going to drive all the way back to the house you were just at, knowing they are not there? Why did Jen McCabe want her?
That was some buying some time bullshit is what that was.
Yes, and I'm telling you what, I think some of the taillight pieces came because you could tell something was different about her car when it was parked or from that officer's dash cam.
Oh, yeah.
I think that the reason that Jen McCabe had her drive back to Meadows and park her car there and leave it there and ride with Carrie is so that Jen's husband or the Alberts or whoever could go, do something to her car. You know what? Because Jen was texting her old man, I bet, and was like, hey, Karen's taillight's cracked. If I can get her to, that's perfect. We can say she hit John or,
Yeah, and we don't know what the fucking conversation was with them drunk bitches on the way to and from. She was like, are you sure you didn't hit him? She was probably priming her for that fucking
like gaslighting her, or maybe he got hit by a plow, or maybe somebody hit him when he was trying to walk home, or
speaking of hit by a
knows?
plow, I love Lucky, man.
Yes,
he's a motherfucking soldier.
Star.
He's a soldier, man. He's an Irish dude just like the rest of them, and he fucking stood his ground and told the truth. He knew the Alberts. He worked for Brian Albert's brother,
Chris,
and delivered pizza to Brian Albert's home at least once a week, he said. So, of course, he's going to be fucking nosy when he's driving his snowplow out there looking to the right. You ain't going to see a 6-foot fucking something man laying there in the snow.
Well, you're going to be looking anyway, because when you're driving a big plow, you're looking for it doesn't matter what time of day or night it is. You're looking for animals running out in front of you. You're looking for people walking along the side of the road, or,
absolutely,
cars stopped and stranded.
I don't mean this bad about Lucky, but he's kind of a simple dude. So he's doing extra shit to make sure he don't fuck up. I feel that. 'Cause
yeah.
I'm kind of a simple myself, and I do extra shit because I'm always thinking I'm going to fuck up. I guarantee you Lucky was looking left, right, and he was looking
wanting
everywhere.
to make sure he did his job 100%. You can tell that Lucky's the type of guy who has integrity, and he cares about the quality of his work, and he always wants it to be done to a certain way, a certain standard. And if it's not done, I just feel like that would give him anxiety. He seems like that type of person.
100%. That's exactly what I'm saying. And especially in front of Brian Albert's house. Brian Albert had a fucking reputation. He was on the fucking TV show, Boston's Finest. He was supposedly a badass dude, a boxer, which I'm sure he was.
Boy,
he
I'd like to
like
see you go 5 rounds with him, he wouldn't know what hit him.
You probably maybe see one. I mean, if it fucking happened. But
I'd pay to see that.
That's a different
Let's set
episode,
it
though. Fuck, hit me up, Albert. But anyway, the reputation that he had and shit. So he was looking extra careful to make sure he didn't hit their fucking mailbox and the second time he came around, Lucky said there was a fucking Ford Edge parked out front at 2-something in the morning.
No, it was like 3, but
was it?
It doesn't matter. He's seen the car out there.
He did. And the video of Brian Higgins when he went back to the police department, that really fucked me up.
Who goes to a police department after they've been drinking all day after the cop's funeral, stopped at a few bars, went to the waterfall, then went to Albert's house drinking. I mean, they've been drinking for hours.
Yeah.
And
texting John O'Keefe saying, "Are you coming? Are you coming?" And he really didn't know John O'Keefe that well.
So why would he be like, "Oh, why are you coming?" I'm telling you. And Jen McKay, when they were coming out of the waterfalls, like, "Oh, you're coming with me."
Yeah,
like she had a surprise for her. They were finna set her up over the Brian Higgins deal. I'm telling you. And that's what happened whenever he walked in to that house and whichever door he walked into. And I also think that Colin might have had something to do with it because I heard there was a little static there, but I'm not so sure about.
Well, he might have been trying to showing off for the big Bryans. You know what I mean?
Oh,
he was a little
uncles.
hothead too. You look at videos of him; he's telling motherfuckers, "I'm gonna fuck you up. I'm gonna whoop your ass." He's a little badass dude too.
He ain't shit.
I mean, he probably is a little badass dude, but he ain't shit. But yeah, Brian Higgins at the police department cleared everybody's shit off for him. You see him walk into the control room, I think it was. I think he was at the police department waiting for any 911 calls, trying to preamp any bullshit if it came in or let everybody else know what the fuck was going on. Mm-hmm. Also, there was the calls between Brian Higgins, Brian Albert. They were all butt dials. Anybody, y'all got iPhones, y'all can't butt dial shit because your fucking face has to look at it, or you have to put
unlock it.
Or you have to put in a 6-digit code. You don't butt dial shit. You know what I mean?
Well, I can say I have a couple times, honestly.
Well,
or FaceTime by accident.
And what about them getting rid of the fucking phones before the day before the
preservation
judges?
order?
Yeah.
Sus.
So Brian Higgins smashed his fucking phone because it was time for an upgrade. Both of them. I got to let you know that. Smashed his fucking iPhone, threw it in a trash can. Was it a military base?
Yes.
And then he took his SIM card, which our iPhones now don't even have SIM cards, so he must have had a fucking old one, smashed it, and threw it in a different trash can. Why did he say that he did all that? Because he's an FBI
Why
agent?
would you do that anyway? Your phone has 1,000 pictures, memories. I would be devastated if anything happened to my phone with everything I have on it.
Yeah, but you know as well as I do, when we get new iPhones, our iCloud, I
Sends
guess
it
if
right
it's
over.
not deleted, everything is still there. Our pictures, our text. We got millions of fucking texts between us. Mm-hmm. But if you delete it, you can delete it from the iCloud, but you can't delete it from the old phone. So if you delete it from the old phone and it's not in your iCloud, it's not going to be in your iCloud on the new fucking phone. That's why he did it.
Speaking of deleted stuff, Karen Reed never had anything deleted off her phone.
No, she was straight up. She came
Jen
with the
McKay
truth.
was deleting shit. Alberts were deleting shit. Higgins was deleting shit. Everybody was deleting shit except for Karen.
We'll be right back.
Hey, everybody, this is Chop from 69 South, man. While we're taking a little break, get up, get yourself something to drink, grab yourself a plate of food. But hey, look up shopcenterdjewels.com, man. Pick up one of our badass 69 South t-shirts. A portion of the proceeds goes to victims, and it helps support our show. Help keep the lights on here in the studio. We thank you all so much for listening. Everybody, just take it easy and enjoy life. That's what it's all about. I just, man, I tell you, the main thing that gets me is the way they was acting at the bar, like I said, and the fucking damage to poor John O'Keefe's face and head. I mean,
That was not caused by a fall to the ground.
her Lexus ain't 6 foot fucking.
If just really think, if she would have backed up like that, the roads were slick. Even if she, so they're saying she just backed up and hit him. Is there her slamming on the brakes to stop? Because if she was just backing up and didn't stop, there would have been tracks in that yard,
Well, also the dude pulled up next to her and seen her sitting there with the dome light on. Nobody else in the yard. Nobody in the passenger seat. She was sitting there looking at her fucking phone. She
Ryan
was texting
Nagel.
John. Where the fuck you at, babe? You coming out? Blah, blah, blah. All that shit she was texting him. She was pissed off because he didn't come back out. In reality, he was getting ate by a fucking dog and getting the shit beat out of him down there, in my opinion.
See, that's one thing that does bother me. Like, if you went into somewhere like that, I mean, I guess everybody's got different relationships. But if you went in somewhere and I'm sitting here waiting for you to come out and I wait like 5 minutes and you ain't out, I'm going up to that door and I'm beating that door down until I get you out of there.
Oh, please believe. I drop you off some fucking where. If I ain't going in with you and your ass ain't coming out there getting me or something, I'm going to the fucking door too. 100. But I think that John O'Keefe, because you see it on the waterfall video, he notices. You can see him side-eyeing shit. I don't think John O'Keefe was that fucked up. He's seen the action between Brian Higgins and Brian Albert. He's seen the static.
He was
seen the
picking up what they were putting down, but why would he want to go over there? Jen was like, come on
because
over.
I think maybe he might have gotten Karen Reed's phone, or maybe she might have had admitted some small bullshit. Yeah, we texted a little bit when me and you was fighting, and you know, John O'Keefe, he's a 6'2" Boston police officer. Them motherfuckers are tough. He's Irish. Take me over there. They want us to go over there and party. I'll go confront this fucking dude, man. Fuck Brian Higgins. That's what I think he was thinking. That's what I would have been thinking. Take me over there. If y'all wasn't fucking, y'all wasn't doing nothing, take me over there.
Excuse me.
That's what I would have been saying. I think she was like, man, fuck that, John. Let's just go home. And he was like, nah, fuck that, man. They're calling me over there. I'll look like a bitch if I don't go over there. If ain't nothing happening, let's go over there. We'll just hang out and chill out and see what the fuck's up with these dudes.
Well, if that was the conversation in the fucking car, she should have been right there with him going in that door.
Yeah, but she knew about the texts, and she probably thought Brian Higgins was going to be like, look, your fucking old lady's been texting me, and she smooched me. She talking about how we the same, we ain't got no kids, and John ain't been treating me right. She was scared dude was going to dime her out.
Yeah, and then on top of, you know, okay, there was Jen, and then there was, why's that bitch's name got to be Julie?
Oh, no, man.
One of the Albert
Them fucking
sisters.
Julies, bro. They all trifooted one way or another.
And then there's
except for you, mama.
Nicole and, I don't know, but I get they were jealous of Karen 100%. I can see Jen McCabe just been seething with jealousy. One, because Karen was a successful woman. She had everything on her own. She was a college professor. She had a corporate career at Fidelity Investments.
She has shit going on.
And what was Jen McCabe? A stay-at-home soccer mom?
Shit. John O'Keefe.
A basketball coach.
John O'Keefe was a good-looking Boston cop, man. I mean,
they all wanted him. That was Carrie
what I
Roberts'
think.
high school sweetheart.
That's right. You're right.
They were all
100%.
jealous of her. And then, well, Jen McCabe is the puppet master in all of this. And if y'all don't see that, then...
If y'all ain't seen my little song I put on Instagram, go check it out. It's kind of funny. It's kind of stupid. People love it, though.
It is.
But anyway,
funny.
she is the puppet master.
Mm-hmm.
I think she fucking had all that shit.
Her and Brian Albert.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And I really think, man, that if it'd be in different situations and we was all in the same neighborhood, I really think that I'd be buddies with all these fucking dudes. I just think they got too fucked up. Brian Higgins got all in his feelings. Brian Albert was trying to impress Brian Higgins. They was trying to impress each other Like we said, they've been together all day at another officer's funeral, and they got into their feelings, and shit got out of hand. They figured out a way to fucking hide it, and Jen McCabe, the puppet master, figured out the timeline and come up with the idea to get his ass out there by
Her
the
and her
flagpole.
husband.
100%.
They all did. And when I believe Nicole when she said, "Oh, I went home and started cleaning." Yeah, you did, bitch, cleaning up a murder.
Hell yeah. I want to talk about the Vanity Fair.
Peace.
Yes, 100%. Spill that tea, baby, because that's fucking exciting.
Okay.
I hope this shit comes to a head.
So, Turtle Boy was investigating, and Turtle Boy has covered the Karen Reed case. I'm going to say since, pretty much the gate. If it wasn't for him, no, I don't think anybody would know about this case. He has dedicated the past 2.5 years, caught charges, everything else, because he's so dedicated to this case and trying to find the truth of what really happened.
He's a goofy little dude, but he got some balls on him. I like him.
Oh, yeah. He'll tell him off in a hot minute. I
He
love
fucking
it.
went over there knocking on doors and shit. Y'all got camera footage? But go ahead. Tell the Vandy's the carpet shit.
So he was doing his investigation, and he seen that this contractor was removing all this carpet from 34 Fairview after the Alberts had just magically sold their house. It was his parents' house. So after they sold it, they were taking out, changing the carpet in it or whatever. Turtle Boy got word of it. Told Karen.
They got
Karen
the contractor's license plate number.
And Karen got her private investigator to get a hold of this dude. They got the carpet, and they have it in a climate. I don't know how much carpet it is. I don't know if it's through the whole house, but it's in a climate stored security storage facility. And she's going to be having it tested for John's DNA, but I guess it's like $5,000 per swab. $5,000
Now,
per
we've seen
swab.
that shit. Some chick was talking on YouTube about that, and I have to say, DNA has come a long way. I don't think it's nowhere near $5,000 a swab.
I don't know.
Unless
how
that's
much
just
it is.
what the Commonwealth want to charge her ass, which I can see that.
Well, if she's going through her own private investigators, I mean, they're probably going to their own labs, and I'm sure it's expensive. I mean, look how much a MRI is or something. Those are $2,000 or $3,000, and you just get in a machine and it twirls around you for a minute and you're done.
Yeah, but you're paying the semen machine bullshit and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. DNA, they just put that shit in some little tubes and put it in the machine and shake it up, and then they get the XOXO shit. It don't cost that much anymore. You know what I mean?
You would think it wouldn't cost $5,000 for one Q-tip swab of a piece of carpet.
Now, Vanity Fair did report this shit, so you can go look that up. It's hypothetical, but I believe it.
So what's next? What's next for Karen? She has the civil trial because the O'Keefe family is suing her for wrongful death. And I think if she's got that carpet, she can get it swabbed and they find John's DNA on that carpet. I think that'll help her in a civil case as well, because then that'll make them look like all liars. I hope she gets enough money raised to get the whole carpet tested, every square inch.
I just want justice for John O'Keefe for one.
Mm-hmm.
What was that number that people was putting on Instagram?
$24.90.
$24.90 what?
Are you talking about his badge number?
No. The number, the people was putting money out there for somebody to tell the truth about what happened. It was in the millions. You just read it to me the other day.
I posted about it. So I posted about this actually on May 18th. It says $10 million in rewards to solve John O'Keefe's death. Will the truth come out? 2 ex-users just put over $10 million on the table to uncover the truth about John O'Keefe's death in the 2022 murder on Fairview Road. Now, this guy, and he goes by the name Cage Muse, Yumi, he said, I'm prepared to fund an investigation into John O'Keefe's death with 100 Bitcoin, currently valued at $8.3 million.
Damn.
I'm seeking the world's top investigators to uncover what appears to be a major cover-up. DM for details. That's $8.3 million to hire the best investigators. And then we had another ex-user, and his name is JB Wells. And he said, I'm offering a $2.5 million cash reward for anyone who finally decides to come forward with real and complete honest evidence that proves the truth of what really occurred at Fairview that night to John O'Keefe. Someone knows the truth of this horrible death and likely the conspiracy thereafter by names of people I won't mention.
You think that's some real shit? You think these dudes really got that loot they want to spread out like that? Or are they just posting some
Well,
BS?
they keep posting about increasing it and all that. I mean...
Well, let me tell you what's going to happen.
It said they was going to put the money into escrow with a written agreement in place and paid upon showing a renowned detective the evidence who will then validate the truthful evidence. Please forward this and let's get justice for those who truly deserve it. That's what he said.
So let me tell you what's going to happen if this loot's real and our theory is 100. So they've all been waiting. They're all scared to death of the Alberts. We already know that. Fucking Brian Albert, the Albert.
Shit, give me 2.5 million or 10 million. I'm not going to be scared of nobody.
Hell no. But I'm just saying, though. So they was all waiting on this Karen Reed shit to drop. You know, a secret can only be kept if it's between two people and one of them ain't alive no more. So if this fucking conspiracy shit is real, there's a bunch of people that may not know the exact truth, but they know that there's a bunch of fucking lies. So somebody, after Karen Reed's been acquitted, like she should have been, because that was bullshit, somebody's going to fucking come forward and get that loot if it's real.
Or people are going to start dropping like flies.
Dropping like flies, yeah, we'll know. Absolutely.
Now, you know what's crazy? There's also another case tied to Canton, Massachusetts, with police cover-ups, this and that, and that's the Sandra Birchmore case.
Oh my God, that's a different episode. That's Canton, some dirty motherfuckers, man, for real.
Yeah, and you know, the Sandra Birchmore case ties in more to what we talk about a lot, which is child predators. A police officer, his name's Matthew. I can't think of his last name right now, but
wasn't she like going to the like little cadet thing, like she wanted to be
Explorers program when she was 15,
yes.
12 to 15, because she wanted to be a cop. Well, at the age of 15, the cop started
fucking her,
molesting her.
Right.
Well, they ended up being in a relationship for like 7 years, and he was married, and she got pregnant with his baby, and then she wouldn't have an abortion or something like that, was going to keep the baby, and she ends up dead. And the Canton police investigator, Michael Proctor, jumped to, oh, well, this is a suicide.
You're telling me Michael Proctor was involved in that shit too?
He was one of the investigators on it, yes.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, dude had control of this little girl until she got to be a grown-ass woman. And one of the dude, 100, especially being pregnant, she's like, nah, fuck this. I'm going to come clean. And she wound up dead.
Yep.
And they called it a suicide. That's
why the FBI was watching him originally, I think. And then the John O'Keefe stuff popped off. And there's so much information to retain in the John O'Keefe case.
It's deep.
So that's why I'm like, oh, maybe it was this, maybe it was that. But the basics of the story, I got down pat. But some of the small details, I may be a little off, but not too far.
This Karen Reed story has just blown up. And I feel like my mama used to watch General Hospital and shit like every day. I feel like I've been sucked into a soap opera. I couldn't get enough of it. I come home from building houses and shit every day, and I could not wait to put the fucking Karen Reed trial.
And you know what? We always watch this second trial on Melanie Little's channel, and Melanie Little reminds me so much of my mother-in-law. She's witty like her, looks just like her.
She does, for real.
But yeah, we enjoyed watching the trial on her channel.
I was fucking addicted to it. I know a lot of other people was too.
You know what my favorite part of the whole Melanie Little watching her trial, her do the trial was?
I already know what you're going to say. She would call, I think she wanted to fuck Alan Jackson.
No, that was not what I was going to say.
she's
But
like,
yeah, we thought that she had the
he's
sweets
smooth
for
as butter.
You know her.
She had the hots for old Alan Jackson.
Oh, yeah, she did. Boy, because you could just see the glow in
Smooth as
her
butter.
eye.
And when somebody objected to Alan Jackson, boy, you could see the fire in her
she'd get
fucking
so
eyes.
bad. Okay,
Smooth
maybe
as
she
butter.
was just professionally just thought he was so, maybe she didn't want to jump his bones, but
Yeah, professionally drip or whatever. I don't know, man. That smooth as butter. You could tell she had the hots for him or something, man. Wasn't there a rumor that like they went to Mexico together?
yeah, I heard Melanie talking about it. She said that she had posted something, and I think Alan Jackson was in Mexico or something, and he posted something on his Twitter, and they really didn't have nothing to do with each other. But then everybody was like, "Oh my God, Melanie's in
Smooth as butter.
Mexico
Got me
with
though,
Alan."
for real. I liked Melanie though a little bit. She had Dave Matthews shit. She's like an old pot
hippie.
smoking hippie chick. Yeah, I liked her though. I mean, it was funny. I liked when people would tell her to stop doing this, stop doing that. She stood her ground. I was like,
It's my
sorry,
channel. Bye.
Sorry, not sorry. I'm fucking doing what I want to do. Don't tell me to fucking not stop.
But I got to tell you my favorite part.
Yeah, my bad.
My favorite part. Now, Melanie Little does not cuss and discuss per se on her channel because, she's got a lot of moms and stuff who are listening, and sometimes they got their kids around. So she's very, very respectful. And when the jury knocked on the door and was like, "We got a verdict," and then Judge Bev came out and was like, "Well, the jury knocked, but then they knocked again." She was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, that's the first time I did, I think.
I've never heard her say a bad word ever.
I was like, what the fuck, too? That was like, are you kidding me? It don't even make fucking
Psych.
sense. Psych. Oh,
April
we don't
Fools.
have a verdict. We want to stick around for another couple of days and get more money out of TMZ when one of the first of us to give our interview.
Oh, stop.
Well,
Oh, another thing that I seen on Twitter, there was this attorney, and she is convinced Karen Reed is guilty. Now, this is coming from an attorney, and it was so disgusting, and I'm going to talk about it. Let me find it real quick. And this is a tweet from Wendy Murphy, and I guess she's a lawyer. And you know what she said? Think about how stupid the Karen Reed jury had to be to find her guilty of OWI, the charge with the weakest evidence, and not guilty of manslaughter, which Reed admitted to, and the undisputed text stream data proved beyond all doubt. Stupid jurors should be stripped of their citizenship.
she's stupid.
She's so dumb. And what a disgraceful attorney, because the jurors see more than we do. You know, even if we're watching it on TV, they still get to see more than we do back in the jury room and all the kinds of stuff like that. And even though that there's been cases that I didn't agree with the jury, I've still had to sit and think, man, they seen evidence that we didn't get to see. And like in the Richard Allen case, I didn't agree with their jury, but I see I understand how they got there, and I don't think they're stupid. But in that case, they just couldn't get over his confessions.
Right, and I couldn't either, actually. I went through that shit in my head a million times, man, and we're going to do an episode on that too, by the way. But yeah, I mean, the jury they see the real emotion in the courtroom. I mean, we've seen the shit on TV. They could feel the vibe and the electricity from the experts. I mean, Alan Jackson, you told me this. I didn't know this. I didn't know that Alan Jackson was actually a part of the prosecution team for O.J. Simpson. And the prosecutor, I couldn't stand his little whiny ass voice. What's his name?
Hank Brennan.
Yeah, he was also Whitey Bulger's attorney. That's some interesting
Yes.
facts.
Why do you think they had him come in?
I don't know, but they paid him almost $500,000, and they paid experts. I think at the end of the day, it was in excess of $500,000. So that's over $1 million that they spent just on one prosecutor, not the team, not the judge's salary, not all the helpers, all the paralegals. We're talking $1 million just for experts and crybaby voice Brennan. Objection.
I was wrong when I told you that. I didn't mean OJ. I meant Phil Spector.
Well, that's a big fucking difference. You remember when I said, "Are you sure, baby?" Because I don't remember.
I
Alan
knew
Jackson.
it was 2 Los Angeles cases, and I don't know why I said that.
Well, I'm glad you fucking
Corrected myself.
Yeah, because I was thinking in my head, I'm going to have to look this shit up. I don't remember Alan Jackson up there with that short-haired chick that was prosecuting OJ.
Marsha?
Yeah, Marsha.
Yes, I was wrong. No, I told you wrong. He was involved in the Phil Spector case.
That makes more sense. He was on the prosecution team, though, right? Not a defense attorney?
Right.
Okay, that makes more sense.
And Phil Spector was that crazy dude. Like, wasn't he a music producer?
Yes, he was.
Or something like
very
that?
Famous, very, very prosperous, yes,
And
for sure.
I think he killed his wife. I'm not sure of the details on that crime, but...
We'll have to come back with that T2 for real.
But...
Anyway, we're going to have to cut this short because we're already at the end of the episode. We could talk for days about the Karen Reed trial. We didn't get really into every single aspect because it's all over the news, people. This is just our point of view on it.
And we are also going to do a series on the differences in the first trial and the second trial, like Jen McCabe's testimony in the first trial versus the second trial and things like
Absolutely.
that. The differences.
We're also going to start another little podcast called 69 South in the Alley.
And those are going to be Patreon exclusive episodes. So this will only be on Patreon. And if you want to be a member, you can go to patreon.com/69 South. And we have all of our episodes there. And if you want to be a member, we have a $5 mile marker tier.
Help us keep the lights on in the studio, folks.
And then we have, you get access to all of our legal documents, exclusive episodes. And there's a lot more coming. It just takes some time to get it all together. But
We
it's
appreciate
coming.
you. Until then, have a good day, good evening, good night.